the other thing I want to say, just circling back to this fucking such a dumb idea to try and push homeless people out of the CBD. It's almost like building 43. There's 3 social houses in this term of government isn't enough.
It's weird that, eh?
Like if this government announcement was, we're going to push all the homeless people out of Auckland CBD into social housing, fair play. But they're not doing that. They're just pushing them out. And that's it. That's the end of the story. It is typical, short-sighted, focused on the wrong people, and it's an old idea that is not going to work.
Well, because you've
this
started
government down to a T.
Yeah, because you've started it, we'll just roll straight into this and then we'll do our super chats and stuff after this story. But interesting today, rough sleeping ban in central Auckland considered by government. Government ministers have confirmed they are considering measures to move homeless people out of Auckland city centre, but the exact details remain unclear. Opposition parties and housing advocates have raised alarm over the prospect of an effective ban in homeless people in CBDs, warning that such an approach only displaces the problem and causes more harm. Asked about the possibility on Tuesday, Prime Minister Christopher Luxon told Parliament there had been, quote, no cabinet decisions or discussions on the topic. But on Wednesday, less than 21 hours later, he told reporters that the government was in discussion with, quote, lots of different stakeholders, end quote, in Auckland to improve the state of the city centre. Move on orders would be one of the things that you'd want to be considering. But obviously, you've got to make sure that you've got the right support structures in place to support people as well. Now, I want to play the clip yesterday where he said no, 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 no. But the other thing that I saw in a few headlines was talking about begging or like asking for money, trying to ban that as well. And they very quickly are using a term like a move on order, trying to make it sound like it's not sort of a crime. And the question that you need to ask back to anyone who says that is, so what happens if they don't move on? Well, then they get arrested. So it's a crime. Might sound nice, a move on order, but what they're doing is potentially making homelessness in CBDs illegal. Chewie, I've got this clip to play from yesterday's house. It's a few minutes long, but do you want to speak to that at all before I hit play?
No, roll on. I want to see.
Roll on, McDuff. And I've given the full... and there's a question from Chloe in the middle. And Chloe says, when will the Prime Minister accept my invitation? I've cut that out. It was a great question, but I actually more wanted to see Luxon's response to Hipkins. So it's about 2 minutes, maybe a bit less than that, of Hipkins and Luxon jousting. And remember, this is yesterday, and Hipkins has asked him directly, are you considering it? And Luxon yesterday says no.
Is the government considering a law change to ban homeless people from central business districts? If so, why?
No, our government's doing everything we can to support people who are in homeless situations, and that's why you've seen 300 more places made available through Housing First. 100 of those 300 homes and accommodation has already been filled, 200 in Auckland. But of course, our government, our ministers will work with lots of people to see what else we can do.
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Point of order, Right Honourable Chris Hipkins.
It was a very straightforward question. Is the government considering a law change to ban homeless people from central business districts? If so, why? I didn't ask the Prime Minister what does he think about homelessness. I asked him specifically whether they're considering a change to the law to ban homeless people from CBDs.
Two parts of the question, two legs questions.
The Prime Minister did say that the government will do what they can. I would like to know if the Prime Minister could elaborate on that to answer that specific part.
I'm quite comfortable answering one of those legs or those two legs in that question.
Supplementary.
I'm quite comfortable answering one of those legs in those two legs of that question, whatever the fuck that means.
Good language, buddy.
Good English.
Super.
It makes me think of that, what's his name? The guy on The Simpsons who sticks his finger up his nose, Wiggum, the young one, Ralph Wiggum. And he goes, me fail English.
Christopher Wiggum.
Me fail English? That's impossible. Which is kind of what I think when I hear that kind of language.
Question. Is the government considering a law change to ban homeless people from central business districts?
There have been no cabinet decisions or discussion on that topic.
No cabinet decisions, fine, or discussions. So these ministers today who are saying we're talking about it are implying that they had those discussions but not in cabinet. I struggle to find that believable.
Supplementary question. Has the cabinet discussed a law change to ban homeless people from central business districts?
In answer to the answer I just gave the member for his last question, no.
If booting people out of emergency accommodation has fixed the homelessness problem, why is the government now considering changing the law to ban homeless people?
Well, I reject the characterisation of that question because here's the deal on housing. This government has delivered housing affordability
Big boys doing big jobs, yeah, Mr. Luxon.
for people who want to purchase a house or to rent a house. This is the government that took 6,000 people off the State House wait list.
I don't think he thinks that's a win. Maybe it might be. I'm not sure.
And we fed them into a mincer.
That member increased it fourfold over 6 years. This is the government that took 3,200 households out of emergency housing, and this is the government that's doing a lot to help homeless support. Our record, yours any day.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, a weird one. Talking because Luxon basically bragging how many people that they've taken off like the emergency roles. That doesn't mean you solve their problems. You did a thing. It's like when me and Chewie have talked about in the past. You know, if you throw a drowning person a masonry brick, you've done something. Please just do something. Well, we did something, but guess what? Made the problem a lot worse, but we still did something. If taking them off the list meant you going with your permanent marker but not actually helping them, then you've made the problem worse, and that was never acknowledged. Anyway, Chewie.
Christopher Luxon sees the number on the list. He doesn't see the person behind the number.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk to them. He talks to his business mates. He talks to his supporters and donors. He runs from anybody that criticizes him, and he does not move in circles that he feels he doesn't belong or that aren't worth his time. This is not a man of the people. He has never shown an ounce of that. He sees the number on a list. He moves it to a different list. He gets rid of the fucking list. The person remains in an empty shop doorway at night.
Chris Bishop said something interesting today, and actually you've just made me think about being of the people. Chris Bishop attempted to make a joke in the House, and one of the things he said about John Tamihere was how he was a millionaire, and then scoffed that meant he wasn't a man of the people. And I'm just thinking, for the first time, has he met his Prime Minister? Like, has he met his Prime Minister? If money equals man of the people, then his leader is so much further removed than someone like John Tamihere. Yeah, you reminded me of that today.
This is the lesson, right? Up until now, National have been happy to only listen to their donor. Or their donors, the property owning class in this country, because that has worked for them. They have a massive war chest of donations from people who don't want to be taxed, don't want to pay for hospitals for disgusting, gross, poor people. And that's worked for them. And if there's a lesson that we need to take out of what's just happened in New York, and it's something that we've said right from the get-go, there are more of us than there are of them. And like Ricardo said, if we don't have 500 grand to donate to a political party of our choice, then the other thing that we have is our time and our effort to actually do something. Now, traditionally, New Zealanders are not great at this. But maybe this is the year that, whether it's for Greens or Te Pāti Māori or Labour, that we actually get out there and put boots on the ground and do something more than just fighting on Facebook about who's the better government.
Yeah.
Because that'll put the shits up the property owning class. Historically, that's never ended well for them.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. All right. Now, apologies that we haven't got to any chats yet, but as I said, we kind of felt like we rolled into that conversation straight out the back of the other one. So we'll do them now. Citizen Gold says 409 days at most of this hateful government. Banning rough sleeping is not a fix. Yeah. Andrew says Mamdani's proof of concept: organise, tell the truth, offer concrete fixes to neoliberal failure, win. Our turn, New Zealand. Left, let's effing go. Ryzen just says rest in peace, Cheney. Long live the Zoranistas.
I think you might want to reread that, Pat.
Rest in piss, Cheney.
Yeah, you said peace.
No, I think I said piss.
No,
I read piss.
We'll play the tape back.
Okay, I read piss. If my mouth said peace, maybe it was just it's my Otago accent. Maybe I read piss. All right, fair enough. Cheney was such a dick.
5 minutes.
Shut your face. Cheney was such a dick, says Kiwi Bird. Kiwi Bird also says too expensive to live in the area and pay too little. Plus pay too little, plus hours too long, plus asking for experience beyond what the job requires equals low employment. Yeah, I mean, there's other places as well, but because Queenstown is such an isolated, like, you know, every area, every town, every city in particular has very wealthy areas, but normally you can go 4 suburbs over and it's not quite so expensive. So if you can't afford to live in the middle of Newmarket or Remuera or what is it, Cuba Street in Wellington, what would be the richer areas in Wellington? Maori Hill in Dunedin. It doesn't matter because you can live two suburbs away and still work there. But Queenstown is a microclimate of all the problems. Their average house price was announced this week at 1.6 million. The average, 1.6 million. And
if you're just a worker there, just in a shop or something like that, like you hear stories, especially in winter, of a 4-bedroom house with like 18, 20 people in it, hot bunking, mattresses on the floor, working at the ski fields or working in a local bar or something. It's shit.
Yeah, and that's kind of the difference with, I think, probably Queenstown from maybe almost anywhere. Other places you have accessibility to be able to live in an area that's not quite so expensive. But then the question is, should you have to? Should you have to live in an area that's not quite so expensive? If I'm working in whatever expensive area X, should I really have to live 7 suburbs away? Why can't I work and live in the same suburb? That's another conversation to be had.